so windy here, and I think living near a coastline, you are ever so slightly more aware of wind when it comes. So over the last couple of days it's been so windy. I've just been looking out of my window like, oh my word, that tree's going to get uprooted from the ground. And with that, I've kind of been inspired to do a class about wind. Just a tiny little bit of background before we get into it. One of the oldest texts that we have from ancient India is called the Rig Veda, and you may recognise that word Veda because that book ushered in the period known as the Vedic period. And in this book it is written about tons and tons of things, but largely it's kind of an ancient look into how our ancestors thought the world worked. And of course, as we get with many global cultures, not just Indian culture, when people look and see great winds, they're like, well, something bigger than us is obviously controlling that. Therefore, there must be a god of wind. In the Rig Veda, there's also a god of fire, a god of water, a goddess of earth, and a sky god, also in charge of like thunder and lightning. Think Zeus or Thor, very Zeus and Thor-like. And Vayu is the god of wind. Vayu means wind, but it's also the god of wind's name. And from that, we have the Pañca Vayūs, or the 5 winds. And these are ways in which we can move our body. As it's autumn, the time of wind, we're going to start moving our body in a similar sort of way. The winds of change isn't a phrase for nothing, after all. So we're going to work with these 5 winds, going through each of them and allowing their qualities to infuse into our body. So have a little wiggle in a comfortable seated position. Make sure that your breath can bring a little bit of extra length up through the spine and your shoulders can soften as your eyes gently close. And if you can, if it's comfortable, bring one hand to your chest and the other to the very top of your abdominal muscles. Our first wind is the wind of breath, which you may have already guessed. But this is the way in which the element of wind interplays with our body the most regularly. We breathe in, we breathe out, we exchange the air around us by passing and filtering it through our respiratory system and back out. And the feeling that that instills within the body as we inhale is an inwards, downwards motion. So start to inhale with a little more purpose. Feeling as though you are drawing the air in and down into the body. And then feeling the exact opposite as you exhale, that kind of rising up and out feeling. And it is this exchange that gives us our life force, our life energy, our vitality. After all, that's what prana means. It is our vital wind, because we can go a few weeks without food, we could go a few days without being warm, we could probably go a few days without water too, but we can't go more than about 10 minutes with air. It is our main source of sustenance. And feeling that wind of the breath flowing in and out of the body. Then take an inhale as you circle the arms out and up, interlace the fingers, and then press those palms nice and high. Feel quite rooted through your sit bones and your legs, but feel this need, even this encouragement to rise and lift all the way up to the sky. Feel as you inhale your awareness traveling down into those sit bones, feeling the air allowing you to fuel. And as you exhale, feel that upwards, outwards motion really encapsulated with this upward lift. Find a tiny little sway from side to side and just bring a little bit more openness into those lungs and ribs. And the moment you're ready, open the arms all the way out to the side. Interlace the fingers behind you. See if you can interlace the fingers the way you wouldn't usually, so it'll feel a bit strange. Roll those shoulders back and squeeze your softly bent elbows behind you like wings. Take a little bow forwards and maybe lift the hands up and back behind you. But really keep those palms touching. Don't let the wrists pop away from each other. Bowing forwards, taking a deep breath in, and then rising all the way up to lift. And we're going to swoop the arms out and bring the fingertips to rest onto your shoulders. So now we've got that Pañca Vayūs down, that kind of inward-outward expansion. We're going to work with Pañca Vayūs, which is often linked with the element of fire, and it churns through the abdominals. We're going to do this with a breathing technique. So inhale as you twist to the right. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale to the right. Exhale to the left. Few more, just like that. Nice and slow. And then if you want, you can quicken that pace a little bit. I'm really feeling the inhale, the gentle expansion of the belly as you inhale, and then try and squeeze those abdominal muscles back as you exhale. Three more. And then come all the way back to center. Circle those arms all the way out and up. And then relax them down beside you. Lean back into those hands and stretch those feet forwards nice and wide. Start to sweep onto the inner and outer edges of the feet and let the knees drop with you. And as the knees drift, turn your gaze, rolling it in the opposite direction to your knees. And feeling this kind of internal twist stemming from your belly and reaching up into the crown of the head and even down into the toes. There's this long feeling of inner rotation, inner twisting. Then take an inhale as you come all the way back to center. We're going to cross the legs, but cross them the way you wouldn't usually. Bring the fingertips up onto the shoulders and we're going to twist the other way. So this time inhale, chest to the left. Exhale, chest to the right. Nice and slow. Really feel your body having to work to get into these twists. It ends up becoming like a little bit of a wringing towel motion, in the same way you could bring a little twist into the center of a wet towel. It would push all of that water out to either edge. It's a little bit like Pañca Vayūs. We are finding this real abdominal connection so that we can feel the expansion up and down. Maybe make that a little bit quicker. Three more. And then inhaling as you reach all the way up. Open those arms out and down. Relax back into the palms. Once again, take those feet forwards and press into the palms. And you're going to bring the feet just a little bit closer together, but also further away from your body. Inhale, lift and stretch your left foot up and out. Really use your hip flexors as you bend the knee and hook that left ankle above your right knee. Now, the closer this right foot is towards your bum, the bigger the stretch is going to be. So feel free to take it a little bit further away. Again, we're going to circle, sway, there we are, from side to side. But then, as you get that left foot closer to the floor, let it drop onto the floor and come into a cross-legged seat. You want to hug that left knee nice and close into the chest. Breathe your left arm to the sky and then sweep it across your body. Bring that left forearm to the inside of your left calf, right hand behind you to steady you, and then twist. But as you're twisting, feel that left butt cheek increasingly dropping into the floor. So you've really got this feeling of lowering and rising simultaneously. Then inhale as you sweep that right hand up to the sky and bring it across to hold the thigh, and bring the left hand behind you to steady this time. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, twist and deepen. But really try and squeeze your inner thigh into your abdominal muscles. Squeeze as best as you can. Keep that spine nice and long, strong and lifted. And then when you're ready, untwist. Bring both hands either side of that left foot. Lift up onto your right knee and tuck the toes. Now you're going to twist away from me. So turn away from me, but look at me between your legs. Whee! Hello! Then keep twisting. Go to the other side to drop your left knee and sit onto your bum. And you should end up on the other side. So your right leg is now crossed up and over. Breathe that right arm up and sweep it across, forearm to calf. Inhale, lift, exhale, twist. And as you're twisting, continually drop that right sit bone into the floor. And then inhaling as you sweep that left hand up, we're going to reach it across and hug the right thigh and knee with that arm. Squeeze your belly into your inner thigh, lift, and again, twist. And feeling how all of these rotating sensations bring such freedom into the rest of your body. When you're ready, gently place both hands behind you. Lift, keep the legs as they are, but just step onto the flat sole of that left foot. And again, sweep that leg. Shape your sort of figure four, number 4 in the legs almost. And then when you're ready, lift and stretch your right leg up and out, and then lower it all the way down to the ground. We're going to keep a slight tilt back in the body, but reach to hug the thighs and lift the toes nice and high. Feeling that strong connection to your abdominal muscles. Noticing how that sensation can spread, bringing spaciousness, lift and length into the spine and the chest. A strength and a gentle hover in the legs. Maybe let go. One of the things I love about Pañca Vayūs, it's kind of our inner spark. It's like our inner sauna. It's connected with the abdominals, but also with the brain. So sweeping the feet round to the same side to come up into tabletop position. We're going to tuck the toes. Now we're going to start to play with Apana and Udana Vayu. Now, interestingly, Apana is not upward movement. It's downward movement. So we want to play with this idea of pushing away from the floor to lift up, but also having these moments where we surrender into the earth too. So take an inhale, use every part of your body that connects to the floor to help that chest and gaze lift up to the sky. Then curve your spine up, but lift and hover the knees an inch or 2 off of the floor. Inhaling as you lower, scoop and lift. Then press, squeezing up. We're going to roll the toes over to the right and drop the hips over to the left. Feel free to look underneath that right arm as you go in a twisted down dog. Then swivel onto the balls of the feet, lower the knees to their hover, and then push and lift, roll the toes to the left, peek under the left arm, let the hips swing over to the right. Once more each side, lower, hover, swivel, twist, rise. Lower and hover, swivel, twist and rise. Inhaling as you lift all the way back to down dog. Come forwards into plank, and as you exhale, gently tap those knees down and then pick them back up. And the trick here is you want to keep pretty much your entire body as steady as possible as you lower. Then let the knees and toes relax. Ripple and soften your thighs, pelvis, belly, chest, chin and head all the way down to the ground. Inhaling as you sweep your forearms forwards into Sphinx pose. And this is one of the best poses for feeling that Apana and Udana Vayu, because the more we push down, the higher we rise up. Squeezing those glute muscles together, elongate ever so slightly through your lower back. And then when you're ready to exhale, sweep your left hand underneath your head. And you're going to bring your right foot nice and close to your right butt cheek. Reach around to hold it. Now start by squeezing that foot in towards your body as you bow the head down. Inhale as you push your foot into your hand and lift your head and your chest. Hug in and down to lower. Then again, push, lift, squeeze, lift the head, the chest, maybe the knee. Then hug in and down. One more time, push, squeeze, lift. Maybe push into that left hand and lift a little bit more of that back leg, thigh, could be possible. Lowering all the way down, relaxing, swap feet, so bring that left foot in this time. Right hand under the head to reach back and hold. Lower and squeeze that foot in. 3 breaths. First and foremost, push the foot into the hand, lift the head and chest. Hug in and lower. Maybe lift the knee as well this time. Doesn't have to be by much. Hug it in and down. Inhale, push, lift, squeeze. Maybe use that right hand to help the body lift a little bit higher. And then come all the way in and down. Tuck the toes. Hands under the shoulders, ripple and rise. Downward facing dog. Hug and even step those big toes together. And as you inhale, we're going to sweep and lift the right leg all the way up to the sky. Now, with this leg, have your toes pointing to the floor, so the front of your pelvis is parallel to your mat. We're going to take a deep breath in. Start to bend both knees, and as you push your right foot to the ceiling, drop your left knee to the floor. So there's this simultaneous lowering and rising. Inhale. You're going to lift that left knee back up as you hug your right knee into your chest. Now I'm going to do that twice more. So sweep that right foot up and back, lower onto your left knee. Hug in and squeeze. Spread through those fingers. Hug the abdominal muscles. Breathe. Last one. Lifting all the way up. And then gently lower through that right foot, knee and shin. Bring it forward slightly and slide back through that left leg. Toes and knee down as you lift. And we're really grounding down but also lifting up. Both are possible together. So feeling that lift. Good opportunity to sort your leggings out too. Lowering the hands down, we're going to press, lift and step back into downward facing dog. So we can do it all again on the other side. Left leg lifts up to the sky. Again, toes and pelvis pointing down to the earth. Bend through both knees. As you press that left foot up, lower down onto that right knee. As the right knee lifts, squeeze that left knee into your chest. Twice more. Feeling that simultaneous push and pull. And then hugging that left knee forwards, foot and shin come down too. Stretch your right leg back and take a moment to lift and rise. Let those hands have a moment, a little rest. Release through those shoulders. Come back to that most important Vayū, that most important wind, the wind of the breath. Lowering the hands down, we're just going to shift from here straight back into child's pose. So knees wide, feet together, bowing. There we have the wind of our breath. This is how we sustain ourselves moment to moment. We have the churning inner wind of fire. And this is like a flickering flame reaching to the sky. We have our downwards wind, very much like an autumn wind. It allows the leaves to fall and surrender into the earth. But we also have an upward wind, a little bit like a hurricane or tornado, that pulls and tears us up into a different situation or even through a deep transformation. And then lastly, we have Vijnana Vayū. And this is when we've activated all of the previous Vayūs and everything flows with a little more ease and effort. Then take an inhale as you stretch those hands forwards. Sweep your feet together, come round and down onto one hip and swing the feet round in front of you. We're going to immediately lay down, so relax onto your back. Once you get there, bend your knees, planting the soles of your feet onto the ground, arms wide out to the side. Start to sway through the knees, feeling that softness. And just bring the feet, excuse me, bring the feet a little bit closer together. So you can feel the insteps of the feet rubbing as you sway. And letting the knees drop all the way over to the left and sweep your right foot, your top foot, round towards your left hand. Don't have to touch, but just sweep it there and then bring it back. I'm going to recreate that on the other side. So roll onto your right, and then the left leg's the one that sweeps round and across towards the right hand. So we just get this kind of playful, momentum-fueled swing and twist in the body. It's always the top leg, have it just hovering off the floor. And you can do this relatively quickly, but I'm a huge fan of doing it quite slowly. Like really feeling every single bit, every single moment, every single twist. And then allowing yourself to come all the way back to center. Hug the knees into the chest and sway or even circle those knees. And then when you're ready, lengthen and relax the legs all the way out and down. And relax your arms beside you or bring them to the belly. As you breathe, imagine this gentle breeze of awareness, sweeping from the very center of your body, wherever you deem that to be, out and down through the legs, out through the arms, up through the head, forwards from the heart, backwards from the spine. Reclaim the space that surrounds you. And use all of these feelings to step fully into your day, into who you are. Autumn is a season of change. And it is the wind that brings the change. And this is true all over the world. Little fun fact, the term monsoon doesn't actually apply to rain. It's not a rainy season, it's a windy season. Because in India, the warm and cool air that come from the north and south create a tunnel. They then create these wind waves that in the spring spread warm air from the center of the country outwards. And then the cool air descends and draws back into the center. So it is this idea of this expanding wind, this expanding energy, much like we are attempting to feel at this very moment, feeling with every breath our ability to expand and then come back in. Taking a deep breath in as you begin to stretch all the way through your body. Wiggle your fingers, your toes, hug your knees or simply step the feet down. Sway from side to side until you're ready to roll all the way over onto one side and come around and up to seated. Breathing length up through the spine, softening the slope of your shoulders. Inhale to circle the arms and connect the palms. Exhale to hug the hands to heart center. The winds of change come regardless of whether we are ready for them or not. So it is about leaning into the change, understanding that we are little worlds. And if we have beautiful fluidity and fire, a grounded earthly connection, we also have inner winds, which we can utilize to bring about and welcome change. I'm going to close our practice with the sound of Om, the sound of a cycle. Om Shanti. Woo! Blow your wind into the day.